Welcome back to Horoscope TV. If you are a Pisces, this episode is entirely for you.
Yeah, strictly Pisces today.
Exactly. We are looking at your predictions and forecasts for the week of May 4 to May 10th, 2026. And, you really need to tune in because this week brings some of the most intense planetary shifts of the whole year.
It really does. It's a huge week.
It is. You will experience everything from, like, a total spiritual awakening to these sudden, tricky roadblocks. So we are going to explore the astrological charts so you can step into this week feeling completely prepared, safe, and just ready to find pure joy.
Yeah, and it is great to be here because looking at the astrological charts for Pisces this week, the standout feature is really how the week is split right down the middle.
Right, like two totally different vibes.
Exactly. We are looking at two very different halves. So the early days are open, they're flowing, and just packed with strong intuition. Then the middle of the week throws some heavy hurdles your way.
It gets messy.
It gets very messy, yeah. But if you can just navigate that middle section, the end of the week offers this deeply peaceful, refreshing finish.
And that is exactly what we're going to help you do. We're going to take all these moving pieces in the sky and map them out for you. Because, we want you to know exactly why certain days feel heavy and why other days feel light.
Right. It's about being prepared.
Exactly. But before we even touch on your job or your money or, the people you are dating, we really need to start with the foundation.
Yeah.
Because for a Pisces, everything starts on the inside.
Oh, absolutely. That is the ultimate truth about water signs. If the inner world is unsteady, the outer world is going to feel totally impossible to manage.
Right. It all starts from within.
Yeah. So let's look at the foundation we are working with starting on May 5. Because the charts show Mercury forming a beautiful alignment. It's called a sextile with the true node.
Okay, wait. I want to pause right there. Because we throw terms around like sextile and true node quite a bit. Now, I want to make sure we explain the mechanics behind this. What exactly is a sextile doing? And, what does the true node mean?
Yeah, let's break it down simply. Let's start with the sextile. So imagine a circle, which is the whole 360 degrees of the zodiac.
Right.
When two planets are 60 degrees apart, they form a sextile. It's basically an angle of cooperation.
Like they're teaming up.
Exactly. They are close enough to hold hands and help each other out, but far enough apart that they don't step on each other's toes. Now, Mercury, that's the planet that rules how we think, how we process information, and how we speak.
So Mercury is like our mental engine.
Yeah, your mental engine.
And what about the true node?
So the true node is not a physical rock like a planet. It's actually a mathematical point in space.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's the exact spot where the path of the moon crosses the path of the sun from our view here on Earth.
Yeah.
And in astrology, the true node points to our life path, our growth, and our future direction.
Okay, I see.
And because of how the orbits work, the nodes almost always move backwards through the zodiac. That is just their natural motion. So right now, this compass needle of destiny is moving backwards through your sign, Pisces.
Wow.
Yeah. So when Mercury forms that helpful 60-degree angle to the true node on May 5, your mind and your life path connect directly.
That sounds huge. But what does that actually look like on, random Tuesday morning for someone just pouring their coffee?
Well, it basically means finding your voice. Because Pisces are famous for having these huge, vivid dreams and ideas, right?
Oh, totally. Very visual people.
Yeah, but those ideas are hard to put into normal words. You feel things in shapes and colors rather than, like, actual sentences.
Right, it's very abstract.
Exactly.
And
But on May 5, the bridge between those abstract feelings and your actual voice is wide open. You will suddenly find the exact right words to express your totally unique vision for the future.
it makes me think of it's like having a tune stuck in your head for years.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have been humming the melody forever, but you just do not know the lyrics. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, you remember every single word to the song.
Yes.
It just clicks. It is not something you had to study for. It just naturally arrives in your mind.
That is a brilliant way to look at it. It's this beautiful arrival of clarity. You aren't forcing it at all. The words are just there. And you can finally tell the people around you what you have been building inside your head for all this time.
That clarity is just such a beautiful thing to look forward to.
It is. But we need to use that clarity to prepare for the very next day.
Right. May 6th.
Yeah, May 6th, because the sky shifts gears pretty quickly. Pluto goes retrograde.
Okay, Pluto retrograde. Now, this is where I want to push back a little bit.
For it.
When we hear about Pluto, we are usually talking about the furthest edge of our solar system. We are talking about the ruler of the underworld, the planet of deep secrets, and like major destruction.
Right, it gets a bad reputation.
Yeah, it does. And retrograde means it looks like it is moving backward from our view on Earth, which usually means the planet's energy turns inward.
Exactly.
So if Pluto turns its heavy, destructive energy inward, does that mean a sensitive Pisces is going to have to, like, dig up a bunch of painful, terrible memories this week? Because that does not sound like healing to me. That sounds like a punishment.
No, I am so glad you brought that up because the word healing gets used a lot and it can sound very intimidating.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
It really does. And yes, Pluto does rule the underworld. It rules like the basement of our minds. But a retrograde does not mean the basement suddenly floods.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Pluto moves so incredibly slowly. I mean, it takes about 248 years to go around the sun.
Wow, it's slow.
So its effects are a slow burn, not an explosion. For a sensitive Pisces, this is absolutely not a violent tearing open of old scars.
Okay, so what is the actual mechanism of this retrograde for a Pisces then? Like, how do they experience it safely without getting totally overwhelmed?
Well, because it happens right after that moment of total clarity on May 5, you go into May 6 with a really strong anchor.
Okay.
So this Pluto retrograde is just going to gently highlight a psychological habit you have completely outgrown.
Like what kind of habit?
Like maybe a fear of speaking up or a habit of always putting everyone else's needs before your own. You are not going to be forced to relive the trauma that caused the habit.
That is so important.
Right. You are just going to look at the habit itself and realize it is just a heavy coat you do not need to wear anymore. The key is really just letting it drop.
It is an active release, not an active struggle.
Yes, exactly.
I think the danger for a Pisces is that they feel things so deeply. And when a heavy feeling comes up, they might judge themselves for it. They might think, why am I still sad about this thing that happened years ago?
Yes, and that is exactly what they need to avoid. The action plan for May 6th is total non-judgment. If you feel tired, just rest.
Yeah.
If you feel like crying over a silly commercial on television, just cry. Let the water flow.
Right. Don't hold it back.
Do not try to analyze the emotion or figure out exactly where it came from. Just let your body process the physical release of that old energy. The stars are setting up a very quiet, gentle, internal cleaning process.
And doing that quiet cleaning is just so worth it. Because, I mean, I am looking ahead at the astrological charts, and there is a huge reward waiting at the end of the week.
Oh, the best part.
Right. On May 10th, the moon enters Pisces.
The moon coming home to your sign is absolutely the highlight of the week. You know, the moon moves quickly. It changes signs every 2.5 days.
Right.
And it governs our daily moods, our sense of safety, our basic needs. So when the moon lands in Pisces, it's basically like walking into your own house after a really long trip and finally taking off your shoes. You are completely in your own element.
And because Pisces is a water sign, and the moon literally controls the physical tides of the ocean, there is a literal physical alignment there.
Oh, 100%. Water signs respond to the moon more strongly than anyone else. So after doing that mental clearing on May 5 and the gentle emotional release on May 6, Sunday, May 10th, arrives like this fresh breeze. It brings a total spiritual awakening. The heavy fog completely lifts. You will wake up feeling refreshed and ready to experience pure joy without any strings attached.
I love that. And, you know, I want to offer a physical tool to help our listeners match that joyful energy.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's always helpful to align your physical environment with the astrological weather. So to match this incoming wave of peaceful, fresh energy, I highly recommend you wear or surround yourself with the color sea green.
Sea green makes perfect sense for this planetary setup.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just think of the color of shallow ocean water when the sun hits it right at noon.
Yeah, beautiful.
It is green, it is blue, it is so clear. And that color actually reflects light at a wavelength that is incredibly restful for the human eye.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. When you wear a sea green shirt, or maybe you throw a sea green blanket over your reading chair, you are literally giving your brain a visual cue to relax. It matches the exact frequency of the moon entering your sign.
That is so cool.
It is just a simple way to tell your nervous system, we are totally safe now.
And creating that visual safety is really smart because the outside world is not going to be quite as peaceful as your inner world this week.
Ah, right. The messy part.
Exactly. Once your inner foundation is set, we have to look at how you interact with the people around you. And navigating love, romance, and friendships is going to take a lot of awareness.
Let's get right into it. Because if the inside is so peaceful, What is causing the storm on the outside?
Well, the storm hits early. While you were having your wonderful moment of mental clarity on May 5, a very harsh angle is forming between two major planets. Mars forms a square with Jupiter.
Okay, let's explain the square. We talked earlier about the sextile being a helpful, friendly 60-degree angle. What does a square do?
So a square is a 90-degree angle.
Okay.
Think of two cars arriving at a blind intersection at the exact same time.
Oh, no.
Right? They bump into each other. A square creates friction, tension, and a huge demand for action. You cannot ignore a square. It literally forces you to deal with it.
And what are these two specific planets bringing to this blind intersection?
Well, Mars is the planet of heat, aggression, drive, and, pushing forward. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion.
Right.
Jupiter basically acts like a magnifying glass. Whatever it touches, it makes bigger. So when Mars and Jupiter hit that 90-degree angle, you get aggression blown completely out of proportion.
Wow.
People become really loud, they become overly confident, and just very, very pushy.
Now, if I am a Pisces, my very first instinct is to run away from that.
Natural.
Pisces crave deep emotional safety and soft affection. If a romantic partner comes at a Pisces with this loud, demanding energy, maybe asking for a commitment right this second, or getting angry over a really small change in plans, a Pisces is going to feel threatened. They will just want to swim away and hide behind a wall.
And that is their natural defense mechanism. And honestly, swimming away is not a bad idea this week at all.
Really?
Yes, because the aggressive energy of May 5 rolls right into a very strange, very uncomfortable energy on May 6. This is the day Venus forms an opposition to Lilith.
Okay. Venus is love, harmony, and what we value. What is Lilith, and what does an opposition mean here?
So an opposition is a 180-degree angle. It is basically a tug of war.
Okay, pulling in opposite direction.
Exactly. The two planets are staring at each other from across the room, pulling hard. Now, Lilith is a really fascinating part of the charts. Like the true node, Lilith is not a physical planet.
Another mathematical point.
Yes. It is the mathematical point where the moon's orbit is furthest away from the Earth. It is this dark, empty space. And in astrology, Lilith represents our wild side, our shadow, the raw desires we usually keep hidden just to be polite.
Oh, wow. So Venus, the planet of polite romance and holding hands in harmony, is playing tug-of-war with Lilith, the point of raw, hidden, totally unpredictable behavior. That sounds so messy.
It is incredibly messy. When Venus opposes Lilith, the shadow side of love comes completely out into the open. It brings sudden jealousy, it brings weird social drama.
What does that look like in real life?
Well, a partner might get fiercely jealous of a totally harmless conversation you had with a friend. Or, out of nowhere, an old ex-partner might send a really confusing message just to stir the pot.
Just creating chaos.
Exactly. The people around you are dealing with their own shadow sides, and they might project all of that onto you.
So if a Pisces is dealing with a demanding partner on Tuesday, and then this bizarre jealousy and drama on Wednesday, what is the play here? Like, do they try to sit down and talk it out? Do they try to fix the other person's bad mood?
No, absolutely not. The worst thing you can do is try to fix it. My analysis of these charts shows that engaging with the drama only feeds the fire.
Right.
Remember, you have that beautiful moon entering Pisces at the end of the week. Your entire goal is simply to reach Sunday with your peace completely intact.
Yeah, so protect your peace.
Yes. If your partner is acting wild or irrational, you do not need to mirror their behavior. You can simply say, I am not going to have this conversation while voices are raised. Let us talk later. You just set a firm boundary and you step back.
I know setting a boundary is incredibly tough for a sensitive water sign, but it is just so necessary here. And speaking of boundaries, we really need to talk about who you are letting into your space right now.
Definitely.
Because the astrological charts are very clear about which zodiac sign you need to put a firm boundary against this week. The absolute worst match for a Pisces right now is a Gemini.
Yes, the clash between Pisces and Gemini is written all over the sky this week. Venus, that planet of love we just talked about, is currently traveling through the sign of Gemini.
Okay, so that's where the drama is happening.
Right. So when that wild tug of war happens with Lilith, it is happening entirely in Gemini's territory. And Gemini is an air sign. They are thinkers, they are talkers, and they move very, very fast.
Let's break down why air and water do not mix well right now.
Yeah.
Gemini is a mutable air sign, meaning they change direction constantly, like the wind.
Right.
And Pisces is mutable water, like the ocean. When erratic, fast wind hits the ocean, it just creates these choppy, totally confusing waves.
That is the absolute perfect way to visualize it. The Gemini energy right now is just so scattered. They want to talk about 10 different things in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They want to gossip. They want to focus on the superficial surface level of life.
Imagine you are a Pisces. You have done the hard work of clearing out your old habits on May 6th. You finally reach Sunday, May 10th, and your spirit is fully awake.
Yes.
You're feeling this deep, beautiful connection to the universe, and you sit down with a Gemini partner or Gemini friend. You want to talk about the meaning of life, your deepest hopes, your true feelings. And the Gemini just wants to talk about a funny video they saw online or some silly rumor about someone at work. They just keep changing the subject.
And that surface level energy will physically drain the Pisces because a Pisces needs someone who will just sit in the silence with them and feel the depth of the moment.
Yes, exactly.
A Gemini simply cannot provide that steady anchor right now. They are way too distracted by the noise of that Venus and Lilith opposition. They will completely make you feel unheard and invisible.
So we avoid Gemini this week. We just let them do their own fast-paced thing over there. But where does a Pisces look for comfort? Who is the safe harbor?
Well, the charts point directly to Cancer. Cancer is absolutely the best match for you this week.
Which makes sense, because Cancer is a fellow water sign.
Yeah.
So immediately, they just speak the exact same emotional language. You do not have to explain your feelings to a Cancer. They just read the room and they know.
Right, they feel it instinctively. But what makes Cancer so incredibly special this week actually goes back to that Mars and Jupiter clash we discussed earlier.
Oh, the aggressive one?
Yes. The tension that is making everyone else act demanding and aggressive actually affects a Cancer very differently.
Really? How so?
Well, Cancer is a cardinal sign, which means they take action. They are the builders of the zodiac. When that Mars heat hits them, it triggers their instinct to protect.
Oh, I love this. So while an air sign might get totally scattered, fire sign might just get angry, the water sign of Cancer takes that exact same intense energy and uses it to build a wall around the people they love.
Exactly, because Cancer rules the home and the family. They are the ultimate protectors. If you are dealing with a stressful situation, or if someone brings that weird social drama right to your door, a Cancer will step in front of you.
That is amazing.
They will take on the conflict so you do not have to. They will gladly act as a shield for your sensitive heart.
That is just such a huge relief. And you can actually use this to your advantage. If you know the outside world is loud and messy this week, just call up your Cancer friend or lean on your Cancer partner.
Highly recommend it.
Stay in. Create a cozy, quiet evening. Order food, put on a familiar movie, and just exist in that shared, quiet space.
Yeah.
You trust them, and they will guard the door.
Yes.
And you really need that safe base camp because your love life is not the only thing getting hit with tricky energy this week. Your professional life is going to demand a lot of patience.
Oh, it really is. The career charts show a very steep drop-off. Things start out looking very bright, but then they just hit a massive wall.
Okay, let's start with the bright spot first.
Let's do that. So on May 5, the exact same day you find your mental clarity, the moon moves into the sign of Capricorn.
Now, Capricorn is an earth sign. It is all about structure, climbing the mountain, and achieving goals. So when the moon, which rules our feelings, moves into Capricorn, it brings this very serious, highly focused emotional tone.
Right.
It grounds the watery nature of Pisces.
Yes, Earth always provides a strong container for water. For a Pisces, this Capricorn energy lights up your sector of community, groups, and long-term projects. This is the day your big ideas align with the people who can actually help you build them.
So it is the perfect day for networking.
Absolutely.
If you have that clear vision for the future, May 5 is the day to send that big email to your boss. It is the day to share your idea with a powerful contact in your industry. People are going to be willing to listen to, and they will totally respect your serious approach.
You should absolutely plant those seeds on May 5. And this is a big, but you have to move quickly because the window of opportunity closes very fast. Yeah. By Thursday, May 7, the professional landscape changes completely. This is the day you hit the danger zone.
Okay, what exactly is happening in the sky on May 7 that makes it so dangerous for a career?
The astrological charts show a classic, very difficult setup. It is called a malefic besieged event.
That sounds scary. What does that mean?
Well, malefic is just an old astrology term for planets that tend to bring challenges, traditionally Mars and Saturn, and besieged simply means trapped.
Okay.
So on this day, the energy in your career sector gets completely stuck between these two heavy planets.
Let's ground this in reality. Stuck between Mars and Saturn. Mars wants to go fast, but Saturn says stop.
Exactly.
Mars is the gas pedal, Saturn is the emergency brake. Being besieged means you are pressing both of them at the exact same time. The car does not move, but the engine is screaming.
That is the exact mechanism. It is a total bottleneck in time and space. In a normal office setting, this looks like severe delays.
Like what?
Like, you finish your part of a group assignment, but the person who needs to review it is suddenly just unavailable.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Or the paperwork you need to proceed just gets totally lost. Or maybe the client you are trying to please suddenly changes all their demands, but absolutely refuses to extend the deadline.
You know, my instinct when I hit a wall like that is usually to push harder.
Most people's instinct is.
If the person is not answering their phone, I want to call them 5 more times. If the project is stuck, I want to work late and just force it through. Is that a good idea?
It is the absolute worst idea.
Really?
Yes. Think about swimming in the ocean. If you get caught in a rip current, swimming directly against it will only exhaust you and pull you under.
Right.
You have to swim parallel to the shore or just tread water until the current releases you. Trying to force a breakthrough during a besieged event will only damage your professional reputation. You will look frantic and you will likely make careless mistakes out of frustration.
Wow. Okay, so what are the actual rules for a Pisces on May 7th? We need a clear survival guide for this day.
The rules are strict. Do not launch any new initiatives.
Okay, no new launches.
If you have a big presentation, try your best to move it to Wednesday or Friday. Do not sign any important business documents. Any project you start under this trapped energy will carry that trapped feeling for its entire lifespan.
So you basically just keep your head down.
Yes.
You do the boring routine tasks that do not require anyone else's approval. You organize your digital files. You clean out your inbox. You just tread water until the week is over.
That's the smartest move.
Just let the frustrating day pass, knowing that Sunday brings a total reset. Do not let the roadblock of Thursday ruin the really great ideas you had on Tuesday.
That is a very mature, safe approach. And the need for that kind of discipline carries right over into our next topic.
Which is?
We have to talk about your money.
Oh, of course.
Because when career energy hits a severe bottleneck, financial energy usually gets tight too. You really have to protect your wealth this week.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if the work is delayed, the money tied to the work might be delayed too. But it looks like there are some specific active threats to your wallet in the charts this week.
There are. We go back to May 5 for a second. While your mind is super clear and you are having these great ideas, Mercury actually forms a difficult square with Pluto.
Okay, so we have Mercury, the planet of information, forming that tense 90-degree square with Pluto, the planet of the hidden underworld. So information is colliding with secrets.
Exactly. When these two clash, things that were buried deep under the surface are forcefully pushed up into the light. In the financial sector, this usually points to hidden expenses or financial secrets suddenly appearing.
Now, what does a hidden secret look like in real life? I want to make sure people know exactly what to look out for. Are we talking about like a forgotten subscription box, or are we talking about a huge hidden fee in a major contract?
It is almost always related to contracts or agreements.
Ah.
Pluto rules structural things that are really hard to see. So it might be a mistake on a tax document from 3 years ago that finally gets flagged. Or it might be a sneaky clause in a lease agreement that you did not read carefully, and suddenly the landlord is demanding a fee you knew nothing about. The square forces the secret to the surface, and it demands you deal with it immediately.
So the defense against this is just extreme vigilance.
Absolutely.
If you have to deal with money on May 5, you have to be the person who reads every single word of the terms and conditions. If you are hiring a contractor, ask them to explicitly list every possible hidden fee before you agree to the work. Do not assume everything is fine just because it looks fine on the surface.
You have to ask the hard questions, and you have to hold on to your cash because the financial pressure peaks again on May 7 during that trapped, besieged event.
So the exact same heavy trapped energy that stalls your career is going to impact your bank account too.
Yes. Capricorn, where this event is happening, rules the material world. It rules structures, buildings, and the physical things we rely on every day. When the energy here gets trapped and compressed, material things tend to literally break under the pressure. The charts strongly indicate a high likelihood of a sudden, completely unavoidable expense on this day.
So the structure of your daily life fails, and you have to pay to fix it. Like an emergency car repair or a travel plan costing way more than you expected.
Exactly.
And this is exactly why we study the astrological charts. We cannot stop the car from breaking down. or the plumbing in the house from leaking, but we can make sure it does not ruin our lives.
Right. That is the whole point of forecasting. You are buying yourself time to prepare.
Exactly. If you know May 7 is a high-risk day for something physical breaking down, you just freeze your spending leading up to it.
Lock the wallet.
Lock it tight. You do not buy the expensive shoes you were looking at online. You eat dinner at home instead of going to the restaurant. You make sure to keep a good buffer in your checking account. So when the mechanic says the repair is going to cost a few $100s, it's just an annoyance, not a devastating crisis. You preserve your total financial safety by starving the unnecessary expenses.
Taking control of your spending like that gives you a real sense of agency when the universe feels chaotic. But, dealing with all of this, the loud partners, the weird jealousy, the stalled projects, and the sudden expenses, it is incredibly exhausting.
It really is.
So we have to look at the toll this takes on the physical body. Protecting your highly sensitive physical and emotional health is just as important as protecting your wallet.
I am so glad we are focusing on this because for a Pisces, the connection between the emotional world and the physical body is so immediate. They do not just feel stress in their minds, they physically absorb it into their muscles.
Yes, water signs act like sponges. They soak up the emotional weather of the entire room. The intense planetary shifts this week are highly magnetic. Squares and oppositions create literal electrical friction in the atmosphere.
Oh.
And your nervous system operates on electrical impulses. When the sky is full of friction, your nervous system runs hot. It is constantly processing all the tension around you.
It is like driving a car with your foot slightly on the brake the whole time. You might not notice it at first, but eventually the brakes are going to start smoking and the car is going to shudder. How does a Pisces cool down that hot nervous system?
You have to go back to your ruling element, water.
Okay.
It sounds super simple, but increasing your freshwater intake is genuinely astrologically sound advice this week.
Just drink more water.
Yeah. Water flushes the physical system, but for a Pisces, it also clears the energetic system. It helps move the stagnant energy out. You also need to focus on eating highly nutritious, solid, grounded meals. When the air is full of tension, you need the earth element, which means root vegetables, warm grains, things that physically anchor your body to the ground.
And we really need that physical anchor, especially when we hit the danger zone on Thursday, May 7.
Yes, your physical vulnerability peaks during that besieged event. Remember, this is happening in Capricorn. In medical astrology, Capricorn rules the bones, the joints, and the whole structural frame of the body.
Oh, I see.
So when the energy in Capricorn is under extreme pressure, your physical frame is under pressure.
So the tension literally settles into the knees, the back, and the shoulders.
Exactly. And your focus is likely going to be scattered because you are worried about the delayed work project or that sudden car expense. When your mind is scattered, you become clumsy.
Yeah, you stop paying attention.
Right. You might trip on the stairs or pull a muscle simply because you are rushing. The charts absolutely scream for caution regarding physical movement on this day. Completely avoid heavy lifting and avoid fast driving.
The action plan here is to just slow everything down by 50%. If you normally run 3 miles, walk 1 mile instead. Do not try to move heavy boxes in your garage. Leave for your appointments 20 minutes early so you do not have to speed on the highway.
Exactly. Treat yourself gently.
You have to treat your body like fragile cargo on May 7. Keep away from stressful people too. But beyond just being careful, there's a specific defense mechanism I want to talk about because it is amazing to me that the astrological charts literally prescribe resting.
I know exactly what you're referring to, and it is a beautiful remedy.
When the material world is totally blocked and the emotional world is so tense, the absolute best thing a Pisces can do is take a long, completely relaxing nap.
Yes.
And I do not mean this in a lazy way. Taking a nap is not lazy. It is a tactical retreat.
It is a strategic withdrawal because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the planet of dreams, sleep, and the subconscious mind. The waking world, the world of jobs and cars and arguments, is going to be very harsh in the middle of the week.
Right.
By going to sleep, you are actively unhooking your conscious mind from that harsh transit.
And we know scientifically that during deep sleep, the brain actually flushes out the stress hormone cortisol. It physically washes the brain. So when you take a nap on a stressful day, you are literally stopping the buildup of tension. You're retreating to your home turf, the dream world, where the heavy Capricorn energy simply cannot reach you.
That's exactly right.
You wake up physically repaired. It is the absolute best way to protect your long-term wellness and keep your beautiful spirit vibrant.
You are preserving your strength for the end of the week. You're sleeping through the storm so you can be fully awake for the sunrise.
I think we all need to hear that. Rest is productive. Let us pull all these threads together now. We have covered a massive amount of ground today. We want to make sure you walk away with a clear roadmap for the week.
Let us do a quick review. The week starts with wonderful mental clarity. Trust your voice on May 5 and use the retrograde on May 6 to quietly drop an old habit without any judgment.
And when it comes to the people around you, remember that Mars and Jupiter are making folks loud and pushy, and Lilith is stirring up weird jealousy. Do not take the bait.
No, walk right away.
Walk away from the drama. Rely on the protective shell of your Cancer friends, and absolutely avoid the scattered, exhausting energy of Gemini.
In your career, make your big connections early because May 7 brings a severe bottleneck. Do not force projects to move. Keep an eye out for hidden financial fees early in the week and freeze your spending to prepare for a sudden material expense during that besieged event.
Finally, protect your physical frame. Drink water, eat grounded food, move slowly on Thursday to protect your joints, and take a long nap to reset your nervous system.
Best advice of the week.
Truly. By doing all of this, you ensure that you arrive at Sunday, May 10th, when the moon enters your sign, totally ready to embrace that pure spiritual awakening. Now, to help guide your focus, what are the highly lucky numbers to watch out for this week?
Look for patterns and signs using the numbers 12, 24, 35, 42, 49, and 60. These are your markers for alignment this week.
Write those down. 12, 24, 35, 42, 49, and 60. And circle May 5 for clarity and May 10th for pure joy.
Absolutely.
Before we finish, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to sort of mull over on your own. We talk a lot about the heavy lifting this week. We talked about Pluto asking you to drop old habits, and the stars offering you a completely safe harbor from the drama. My question for you is this. If Pluto's backward motion this week asks you to heal an old psychological wound, and the stars are offering you a safe harbor, what is the one heavy emotional weight you are finally willing to put down so you have empty hands to catch the pure joy arriving on Sunday?
That is a powerful question.
Think about that as you navigate the days ahead. Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Horoscope TV.
Yes, and be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified when the next episode is available. Take care of your beautiful spirit this week, and we will see you next time.